At my cousin's engagement toast, I said, "Glad to be part of this." My aunt replied, "You weren't. We added you last minute." My sister said, "Try not to ruin it like always." I smiled quietly, picked up my $5,000 gift, and canceled the card on file for the venue. 20 minutes later, the lights went out, the music stopped, and my phone exploded with 130 missed calls. "You weren't. We added you last minute." My aunt said it like she was commenting on the weather, casual, dismissive, like I didn't just drop $5,000 on this engagement party gift. She clinked her champagne glass against her husband's and looked right through me, past me, as if even acknowledging me too directly might somehow stain the evening. I smiled, quietly. Next to her, my sister didn't miss the beat. "Try not to ruin it like you always do," she said with a half smirk, leaning just enough to whisper it where only I could hear. The laughter in the room was soft and sophisticated, flute glasses and chandeliers, warm candlelight on white tablecloths, designer dresses and catered hors d'oeuvres. It was the kind of event where everyone's smiles were polished, their lies prepped, and their knives always aimed at the family's weakest link. That link, apparently, was me. My cousin, Danielle, stood in the center, glowing in her white engagement dress, the kind that looked like it cost more than my monthly rent. Her fiancé, Darren, was holding court with his arm around her waist and a whiskey in hand. They looked perfect, like something you'd see in a magazine ad for people who never had to work retail in their 20s. Danielle had always been kind to me, in that polished, surface-level way. A few thank yous, the occasional, "we should catch up," after she borrowed money she never mentioned again. This whole night was supposed to be for her, and I came ready to celebrate. I really did. "Glad to be part of this," I had said during the toast, raising my glass. My voice didn't shake, not even then. But now I stood with my smile frozen, like I hadn't just been verbally pushed off a cliff in the middle of a party. Like I wasn't watching years of quiet sacrifices get vacuumed into the black hole of their selective memory. I took one step back from the circle, then another. Nobody followed. They were too busy posing for the photographer, too busy tagging #FamilyFirst in Instagram stories I wasn't in, too busy pretending I was always on the edge, never in the frame. That's when I did it. I leaned down, picked up the beautifully wrapped gift, the one with the designer ribbon and the receipt that proved it cost more than their entire dinner service, and walked away. No scene, no speech, just one silent move. I walked out the side exit, stepped into the cold air, pulled out my phone, and canceled the credit card that was still on file for the venue. The one I had put down as a favor when my uncle's was mysteriously flagged. 20 minutes later, the music stopped. The lights went out, and my phone lit up like a Christmas tree on fire, 130 missed calls. That was when the real party started. The first person to call me was my mother. "Sweetheart, I think there's been a mistake with the card." I hung up before she finished the sentence. She didn't call back, but others did. Fast. Danielle's fiancé, the venue coordinator. My cousin Mark, who only texts when he needs a little something to tide me over. Even Uncle Theo, whose only real contribution to the party was making inappropriate jokes and sipping whiskey like it was a sport. The texts started off confused. Then they turned panicked. Then came the blame. "What is wrong with you? You're sabotaging someone's future. You've always been unstable." Oh, now I was unstable. Classic move. They forgot who paid for the venue in the first place. They forgot whose name was on the invoice. They forgot the exact way I had been woven into their events. Not as family, but as function. And I had receipts. Literal ones. The venue emailed me an hour later. "Payment failed. Please provide a valid card or the event will be marked as canceled." I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop. There, in a folder labeled Family Charade, were 5 years of bank transfers, Venmo screenshots, WhatsApp messages begging for help. From them. Always from them. $1,500 for Emma's dental work because insurance didn't cover it. $3,200 to Dad after a bad investment. $500 every month for the past year, straight to my aunt, just until her disability check clears. Even the ring Danielle was wearing? She bought it with a loan from me. I recognized the stone. No one ever paid me back. No one ever said thank you. But they always remembered to invite me to foot the bill. Never the pictures, never the speeches. And the worst part? I let them. I spent years playing the dutiful cousin, the invisible backbone of their flawless family facade. I helped plan parties, paid deposits, bought flights, booked venues, calmed fights. I even made the mistake of trusting Emma, my own sister, with access to my emergency credit card. That was a year ago. 2 months later, I found a $9,000 charge at a spa in Napa Valley. A girl's getaway for healing and reflection. When I confronted her, she cried. Said she was depressed. Said she needed it. Said if I took it away, I was a monster. So I let it slide. She's the same one who told me tonight, try not to ruin it like you always do. Funny. I never remember ruining anything, just paying for it. But that wasn't the final blow. That came the next morning. Someone had posted about me on Facebook. A group photo from the engagement party, Danielle, Darren, their smiling friends and beaming relatives, with a caption from Aunt Sandra. Thank you to everyone who helped make last night possible. True family shows up. No mention of me. No tag. But buried in the comments. Emma, good thing we handled everything ourselves. Can't rely on chaos. Mark, FR that guy just feeds off drama. And Sandra, last-minute guests always ruin the vibe. They were talking about me. No ambiguity. But they hadn't expected what came next. Because I'd been waiting. Gathering. Archiving. See, Emma once borrowed my laptop. Forgot to log out of her email. I didn't snoop. Not at first. But 2 weeks later, I got an alert that someone had tried to use my PayPal. Her name was in the autofill. So I checked. And what I found? A draft email. Never sent. Probably forgotten. Subject line, backup plan if he freaks out. Inside was a full breakdown of the party budget. Venue, $17,000. Paid by me. Cake, flowers, music, all contingent on my card. And this line at the bottom, written by my own sister. If he acts weird or tries to back out, we'll say he insisted on paying. Can frame it like a surprise. No one will blame us. The date? 3 weeks before the event. That was their insurance policy. In case I ever grew a spine. I did. And now I had proof. But I didn't post it. Not yet. I wanted them to feel safe. For now. Then I found the audio. Buried deep in a WhatsApp chat backup on an old phone I used to lend Emma, a recording labeled, "He's losing it." I clicked play. It was my voice. Twisted, spliced. Saying things I never said. Yelling I never did. Chopped up phrases from years ago, stitched together to make it sound like I was unstable. I nearly dropped the phone. They were preparing for a narrative. A just-in-case version of me. The kind they could pull out like a fire extinguisher. Dangerous. Unhinged. A liability. So they could take my money, use my name, and still look like victims. This wasn't just betrayal. It was premeditated. That night, I sent an email. One line. No subject. You might want to talk to your daughter before the video goes public. I CC'd Aunt Sandra, Uncle Theo, and Danielle. Then I waited. 20 minutes later, 19 missed calls. I didn't answer. I was already editing the footage. The engagement brunch was rescheduled for the next Saturday. Same venue. New card. Different vibe. No one invited me. I invited myself. I didn't sneak in. I RSVP'd directly to the coordinator. Still had admin access. Still had a say. I walked in 15 minutes before the toast. Black blazer. Calm face. Flash drive in my pocket. One goal. They saw me and went still, like I was a ghost walking into my own funeral. Emma actually dropped her mimosa. And Sandra blinked twice like she was trying to delete me from the room with her mind. Danielle looked nervous. Darren looked confused. Perfect. The coordinator approached me, asked politely if I was here to drop something off. I smiled and said, no. I'm here to add something to the playlist. She hesitated, but nodded. 10 minutes later, right as Danielle raised her glass for the toast, the screen behind her flickered to life. Can we get a quick video from the family? I asked loudly. Everyone turned. The video started. No sound at first. Just screenshots. Venmo. Zelle. My bank app. Transfers with memos like Emma's dentist and deposit for Danielle's venue. $500 here, $2,000 there. Another $1,200 just labeled Save Us. Laughter in the room turned to coughs. Forks went still on porcelain plates. Then came the audio. Clipped. Familiar voices. Emma, if he freaks out, we'll say he insisted. He's good at looking desperate. People believe it. And Sandra, well, he owes us something. He wouldn't have that job if it weren't for the family. Danielle, he'll probably show up with some pathetic gift thinking it matters. Silence. Then, a short video of me, holding the engagement gift they all forgot. Walking out with it. Like I did last week. Cut to black. Then a line on screen. This is what it looks like when you make someone useful, until he stops being silent. I turned around. Emma was already red. Not embarrassed, furious. Her hand shook like she wanted to throw something but didn't know where to aim. You're completely out of line. She spat. This was supposed to be my day. Oh, it still is, I said calmly. You're just not the main character anymore. Danielle stood frozen, lips parted like she wanted to say something, but no script had been written for this scene. Her fiancé, Darren, stepped forward. Wait, this isn't true, is it? I pulled out the flash drive. Ask Emma about the email she drafted. The just in case he freaks out one. Emma lunged forward to grab it. Too slow. I handed it to Darren. Check it yourself. I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to end it. That's when my mother appeared. Like clockwork. Hair perfect. Voice shaking. Please, she said. Let's go outside. Let's talk. I looked at her, mascara already smudged from crying before the tears even fell. For the first time in my life, I said, I don't owe you anything. Not money. Not silence. My dad showed up next. He wasn't supposed to be there. He always said engagements were pointless celebrations. But there he was, as if some emergency alert told him I'd stopped playing dead. You're a disappointment to this family, he said through clenched teeth. You humiliated your own family. I turned to face him fully. You humiliated me for years. I just pressed play. The room split, like a crack through glass. Some guests got up and left. Others stared, phones in hand. I knew at least one was filming. Good. Let them. Let the world see what happens when you corner the quiet one too many times. Danielle tried to salvage it. She stood up, raising her hands. Okay, maybe there were miscommunications, but this isn't the time. Is this yours? I asked, holding up the ring box I'd retrieved earlier. The $5,000 gift. Custom diamond. Bought from a guy I used to tutor in college. Still had the receipt. Danielle nodded hesitantly. I smiled, then snapped it shut and dropped it into my jacket pocket. You'll get it when I get back everything I gave this family. Which is never. So, enjoy the symbolism. Emma shrieked. You think you're the victim? You're just a bitter freeloader with a superiority issue. That's when a voice cut through the noise. A deep, cool voice. Funny, it said. He's the only one who ever paid for anything. Everyone turned. At the entrance stood a man in a dark suit. Emma's ex-Carter. Yeah, I called him. Turns out, I wasn't the only one she burned. He had his receipts, too. He stepped forward, handed me an envelope, and spoke just loud enough for the nearest dozen guests to hear. These are screenshots. Proof Emma doctored texts and voice memos to make you look abusive. She did the same to me. I filed a report last year. I never sent it, but I'm sending it now. Emma stumbled back like she'd been shot. You're ruining everything, she screamed. I turned to her, calm as ever. You already did. I'm just airing out the smoke. Then I walked out. No slamming doors. No flipping tables. Just me. And Carter. And the silence of people realizing they'd just witnessed a myth collapse. That was the last time I stepped foot in a room with those people. And from what I heard later, that was the last time anyone looked at Danielle's perfect family the same way again. Silence after a storm isn't peace, it's just everyone checking if they're still alive. 2 days after the engagement toast exploded, my phone was burning. Over 130 missed calls. Facebook was a battlefield. Long-lost cousins suddenly became moral philosophers. Everyone had a take, a theory, a guilt trip. I said nothing. Exactly as planned. Because I was busy. On Monday, I registered a new company, Last Minute Guest, LLC. Yes, that exact phrase my aunt used to cut me out of the celebration. If I wasn't supposed to be part of their story, I'd write my own and sell tickets. Within a week, I had a website, a YouTube channel, and my first viral video. What happens when the family ATM shuts down? The second one hit harder. How to be uninvited and still own the room. My subscriber count hit 75,000 in 10 days. Comments flooded in. You told my story. They did this to me too. I didn't know I needed this. I wasn't screaming. I was building. Then I launched merch hoodies, mugs, phone cases. Bestseller? A black hoodie with white text. Glad to be part of this. And in tiny red stitching at the hem. Until I read the receipts. It sold out in 2 days. I thought that was the best part. It wasn't. Because the real twist came from someone I didn't expect. Darren, my cousin Danielle's now ex-fiancé. He messaged me late one night. Can we talk? Just us. I assumed it would be a warning, or worse, a threat. Instead, he showed up in person. No ring. Eyes hollow. I checked everything, he said. You were right. About all of it. I stayed quiet. I called off the wedding, he added, swallowing hard. But there's something else you need to see. He opened his phone, tapped a cloud folder, and hit play. It was a video. Grainy. Secretly recorded. Emma and Aunt Sandra, sitting on a couch with glasses of wine. Emma, he won't back out. We'll say it's for Mom. If he flips, we say he's unstable. Sandra, we've still got that college clip, right? The one where he said he wants to disappear? Splice it, make him sound suicidal. Boom. No credibility. I froze. Darren looked down. She left her laptop open. I found the video in a shared folder. She didn't even hide it. I couldn't speak. He reached into his bag and handed me a small box. Inside, the engagement ring I bought. She tried to keep it, he said. said it was already gifted. But this belongs to someone with integrity. And that's not her. I didn't thank him. I just nodded. And I knew what I had to do next. The following day, I met with a real attorney. Not a friend of a friend. A litigator. Someone who wore silence like armor. I laid it all out. The forged texts. The fake audio. The money trail. The video of their, just in case he freaks out, conspiracy. He took one look and said, "We have a case. Defamation. Emotional damages. Financial manipulation." I nodded, but added, "We won't start in court. First, we go public." So I posted a 3-part docuseries on my channel. Calm, chronological, and surgical. The payments. The betrayal. The plot to discredit me. The 3rd episode hit 1.2 million views. A week later, I signed a contract with a publisher for a short memoir. Last-minute guest. How I burned the family myth and built myself from ash. And then came twist number 2. A letter. Handwritten. From my mother. No subject. No return address. I knew. About the video. The plan. The manipulation. I told myself I wasn't part of it if I didn't participate. But silence is participation. I was afraid. Bet if you left, they'd leave me too. But you were the only one who always showed up. Even when they didn't see you. And now I'm ashamed. I didn't reply. I didn't forgive. But I rewrote the outro of my final video. Just one line across a black screen. My mother knew. Silence is also a decision. Today, I sit in my new office. Not for IT work. Not for content creation. A physical space. I opened a co-working studio and mentorship program for people estranged from toxic families. The name over the entrance? Added last. And beneath it, in small etched letters. But never again. 3 months. That's how long it took for them to realize I was never coming back. No apologies. No family meeting. No attempt to make peace. They weren't looking for healing. They were waiting for me to cave. I didn't. Instead, I expanded my brand. Last Minute Guest became more than a channel. It became a platform. I launched a podcast, added last. Episode 1. When Loyalty Becomes Servitude. It hit Apple's top 10 in 2 days. Then I opened the studio, a glass-fronted co-working space in Denver with a plaque that read, "Here, we don't apologize for not going to Thanksgiving." And yet, the messages still came. My cousin Danielle emailed a PDF of her side of the story. My Aunt Sandra messaged a blurry selfie crying with the caption, "Family shouldn't go viral. They should heal." Emma, yes, even her, created a burner TikTok account to tell the truth. She played victim so hard that one of her clips actually trended for a minute. Until someone in the comments posted, "Aren't you the girl who forged DMs to ruin your cousin's reputation?" It got 14K likes. She deleted her account the next day. But the real earthquake came on a Wednesday. I was setting up for a guest workshop when my assistant walked in, pale-faced. "Your dad's outside." I blinked. What? He didn't come alone. I stepped out. There he was, in full suit, flanked by my mother and a stranger in a dress shirt. A lawyer? PR rep? Who knows? He walked straight up to me like he owned the place. "You've made your point," he said flatly. "Now take it down." Take what down? The videos. The posts. The brand. All of it. Why? He didn't flinch. Because we're negotiating with a publisher. A book. Family memoir. Your name's in it. I smiled. There it was. The real reason he came. "Let me guess," I said. Chapter 1. The Ungrateful Son? "You think this is funny?" He barked. "You destroyed a legacy." "No," I corrected. "I just showed people what your legacy really was." That's when he stepped closer. Lowered his voice. "You always needed us more than we needed you. Don't forget that." I laughed. For real this time. I don't need to forget. I documented it. With timestamps. He turned to my mom. She couldn't meet my eyes. And then I did the thing he never saw coming. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small metal key. Shiny. Silver. Symbolic. "You remember that house you used to take us to in the mountains?" He narrowed his eyes. "What about it?" "I bought the land behind it. 2 acres. I had a new fence built last week." So, I said slowly, "The only access road to your property now runs through mine." Pause. Then, "That's illegal." "Actually, no. It's a private easement. I'm within my rights. And I just installed a gate." His jaw tightened. "With a code," I added, "that you don't have." They stood frozen. My mom stepped forward, voice trembling. "Is this really what you want? To burn the whole family down?" I looked at her for the last time. "No. I just want to stop pretending the fire was warmth." And I turned. Walked back inside. The next day, I made one final post. Not a video. Not a podcast. A full-page ad in the Sunday paper. Yes, print. Old school. Black text on white. To the people who taught me that silence was safer than truth, thank you. You made me resilient. You made me relentless. You made me a ghost in your story, and I turned it into a bestseller. Formerly, the last-minute guest. Now, the one who turned off the lights and locked the door behind him. Last week, I changed my number. Told no one. I walked into my office, took a Sharpie, and scribbled something on the back of my old business card. Then taped it to the break room wall. In case of emergency, don't call me. I'm not family anymore. And the final gesture? I donated $10,000 to a scholarship fund for kids estranged from their families. Not under my real name, but under one that now belonged fully to me. Last-minute guest. Because sometimes the person they almost didn't invite is the one who ends the whole party.